Hi, this is Eric Franklin, and in this video we're going to work on one of the banes of society, and that would be shoulder tension. So supposedly at any given time, 2/3 of the population is walking around with tension, pain in their shoulders and of course also in their neck. And we are going to help out with a bunch of ball rolling, fascia-oriented exercises. They're a lot of fun to do and extremely effective. Up here in the shoulder, you have, of course, a lot of muscles. On the outside here, you have the deltoid, you have a posterior anterior deltoid, you have the trapezius, and then you have these muscles at the back of the scapula called infraspinatus. There's also a teres major and minor, and then further in you have the rhomboids. But you shouldn't be too much concerned about that. Just be aware that you're working with a lot of different muscles, and these muscles can actually slide on top of each other a little bit. They have interfaces because they're packed in their own little fascial containers, and in between there's some lubrication so they can move. So that's always a good image. Then of course you can imagine the muscles lengthening and shortening. You can imagine that you're increasing the blood flow to the area, which you surely are, and then of course you're also increasing sensory awareness. And the sensory awareness part is actually pretty important when you're doing this. And finally, since it's not something you do a lot of probably in this position, moving your shoulder, you're moving in novel ways. So you're moving your shoulders in ways you might usually not move them, and that's very refreshing for the nervous system and will tend to release patterns that may be not the healthiest ones that you have been doing. So let's get started. We start by putting the ball underneath the upper arm, like that. And now there's a few varieties of things you can do. You can obviously internally and externally rotate the arm. Then of course you can reach with your hand, you can push, you can combine these things. So you can reach, you can rotate, and commonly when people practice ball rolling, they do it too fast. So they roll really, really fast, and that might feel like a good thing to do, but in fact, you really don't discover as much of the interesting points that need to be released than if you're going slowly. So I recommend breathe, ease into it, go slowly, and search and discover. If you find a point where you feel, okay, I have some tension right here, rest there for a moment, feel the weight of your arm, imagine that point releasing, widening, spreading, and so forth, and then move on. So now we're going to take the ball and put it further in, and of course with these exercises you can take a lot more time. Right now we were under the brachial fascia, and now we're probably under a bit of the deltoid fascia over there, depending on where exactly the ball is positioned. You might also be on the latissimus dorsi. Exactly, and now we're reaching out, and the ball is rolling onto the lateral edge of the scapula. So here you have a scapula, and this here would be the outside, so the lateral edge and the medial edge. So this is a great area right here to roll the ball, and then eventually you're going to roll the ball in this direction a little further in. Why don't you do that right now? And now the ball will be right under the scapula. Be careful. A lot of us carry much tension right through here, but it's a great thing to do. Now, you can also, if you feel like I need a little more pressure, I need a little more, push of the ball into the tissue, put your fingers on the shoulders, and you can lift and lower your shoulders. You can rotate your shoulders, rotating the other direction. Keep breathing. There we go. Moving smoothly. So the ball is rolling all through here. This here is, by the way, a yellow water-filled ball, excellent for under the shoulders. And then finally, you can move the ball all the way to the medial, the inner edge of the scapula. So again, a lot of us carry quite a bit of tension in this area. Here you have the rhomboid muscles attached. Of course, you also have the horizontal trapezius. They are in different layers of the back musculature. In other words, you do have a joint of sorts here, a slide ability, the ability to move these layers on top of each other, trapezius over rhomboids. And then, of course, very deep down, you have the lower back muscles. So just think of sliding layers right here and bringing the idea of movement in all directions, but also, of course, of spreading it. So as if you're pushing your hand into dough and, you know, spreading it out, or clay, if you've ever worked with clay. So that kind of feeling of spreading clay, yeah? So how are we doing? We're doing pretty well. So let's take the ball away. And then, of course, it's very important to compare the sides, because this is where you teach the nervous system where you have been and what could be, yeah? So probably now you notice quite a difference in flexibility and ease of motion in the two arms. And that's when you teach your brain. You want to show your brain, look, I can feel like this. And of course, your brain gets better at your experiences. You're training your brain at positive, useful, healthy, comfortable experiences. Your brain can't reproduce things you've never experienced. That, you know, your brain is challenged to reproduce things it has not experienced directly. It can, of course, we have fantasy and imagination, but it's really valuable if you show the brain, I can feel like this. And now we're also going to compare the legs. You might notice, to your great surprise, that your hip joints are more flexible, your hamstrings have released. So in the Franco method, we have, you know, we say we have 1,000 ways to release the hamstrings without even ever stretching them. Now I think it's time to do the other side. We're placing the ball under the arm. And you can do this, of course, in a very meditative way. So you're just breathing, focusing, moving, and sensing. Then we can move the ball further up. And even further. Now the ball is right under the scapula. So you're affecting the fascia of the infraspinatus. Depending on how far medially you went towards the spine, also trapezius, rhomboids. And the fascia of the rhomboids actually splits and sends a layer over the infraspinatus muscle and another layer under the scapula to the subscapularis. So all of this is being stretched. So the medial edge of the scapula, the inner edge, is a great place to roll. Be careful, of course. We often carry lots of tension through here. Okay. And of course, you could take much more time, but we're going to finish up for now and enjoy the wonderful feeling we have in our shoulders. Probably also feel the whole upper back has released. The spine feels a little longer, the hips are freer. So great thing to do, you know, instead of sitting slouched in a chair, you can listen to music, roll on balls, and your body will love you for it. So thanks for participating and enjoy your rolling on balls. And if you liked this video and had a good experience, then please leave a comment below and go to my website, francomethod.com, where you can sign up for a free newsletter and get many more great ideas on how to feel better in your body and your mind. See you next time.